Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So I just discovered that if I'm logged out and I go to the cart, I get this error here that asks me, it's saying argument must be of type array. A string was given instead on line 26 on cart.php. So this is in the cart controller. The loop here, we have to only loop an array. So we have to check first if this is an array, and then that's when we can start looping. So we can solve this by simply putting an if statement and say if is array cart, like so, and then put the opening and closing. I'll remove that and move this in like so. This should solve our problem. So let me refresh, and there we go. Okay, so it's good to test your site in many scenarios before you actually publish it. So for now, what we want to do is, let's assume every user that starts shopping is logged in already. So we're going to test other scenarios. So here, let's log in. All right, so there it is. And now that we are logged in, we can go to our cart, but there's nothing in the cart. So let's do some shopping. Let's add a few things in there. Oops. Looks like we may have an error in our console. Reference cart is not defined. Okay, that's because on the shop page we actually didn't put our JavaScript there. So let's go to the shop view, and we need some JavaScript down here. So what I'm going to do is go to the home view page. Where is that? Home view, and grab the script tag here. Let me grab that. And let's put that in the shop view right before the footer. Okay. So like I said, you can put this script inside a file, and then you just link to that file. That way it's the same file you're using on the home page, cart page, and so on. That's always better. But here I just don't want to confuse things and risk your file not being loaded properly and things not working. So that's why I'm just copying the code. But let's add here, and there we go. So now we are able to add things to the cart. We can add several times to increase the quantity, and let's go to cart. So there it is. We have 3 quantity, that and that. Now inside our orders, we need to be able, this is going to be like a single order here. But then an order needs detail, like order details here. So we need to create such a table, okay? And that way, when we click checkout, we can actually save this data. But let's go ahead and fix this issue where we click checkout. We're supposed to go to the checkout page. So let me click here on checkout. Okay. So here it says view not found, of course. So let's go ahead and create the checkout page. So on the checkout page, we're going to have what we are doing here in the cart, because we'll need the cart information. So I would rather copy the controller, the cart controller, and right click and new file and paste. And let's change every reference to cart. Let's change it to checkout, like so. So all references to cart. Actually, I'll leave this as it is. I'll just change that and say checkout class. Let me save this as checkout.php. Alrighty then. So there it is. So we have, this is all required so that we can have cart in there. Very good. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead, but instead of loading cart here, we should load the checkout page. So we'll say checkout like that. Very good. And in the same way, I'm going to simply actually no, let me create a new checkout. We already have a checkout view here. So inside views, there's this checkout view here. So I'm just going to view, click on the index.html, and because really what we want is we do need the styles for this, no? Yes, we don't need all of this. Enter your details. We just need this just after the wait a second, I'm lost here. If I go to the cart, I want to see where I started loading this. This is okay, so just after the header. So I'm just going to grab this div here, the internal div, and let me look for where it ends. This one here is the footer. So let's grab all of this up to where it says checkout and grab that entire div and copy. And so we're going to create a view, new file, paste, and save this. Let's save this as checkout. We'll save this as PHP file. Where is PHP? Right there. Okay, so checkout.view.php. Save. And just like we did in the cart, we're going to carry this here, header. Let's copy the header to the checkout side. I'm going to go like this and paste. Let me change the word cart here to checkout because that's where we're going to send our CSS. And I'm going to copy again from the cart down here, copy the footer, copy that, and back to checkout. Let's go down to the end. Like so. All right, that's great. So let's see what we've got so far. So if I refresh the page, this is what I get. So I don't get the CSS. That's the first problem. So what we need to do is go to the public assets, and then in here we grab the checkout. So I'm going to rename this checkout page, rename to just simply checkout, the folder, sorry. And then I don't need the HTML, so I can delete that. I don't need the README, delete that. The rest is required, so I'll leave that there and refresh, and there we go. So we have our checkout, everything looking good. Now here we just need to list our what we are doing. So back to cart. Okay, let's fix this. So I'm going to go, oh, wait a minute. Okay. Okay, so first of all, let's deal with this. Oops, okay, that's fine. Let's leave spaces here. Okay, back to cart and also continue, leave a space there. Then this table here repeats this table body, is where we're going to have our cart information. So let's delete this table row and this second table row so that we just have one. So what I've just done here is removed these two so that we just have one. Oh, I ended up removing the total, so I don't want to remove this one that has the total. So instead what I'll do here is just put total. Let's close that tag. Let me open this. Okay, like that, so that if there's a total, we will see it there. Okay, so there it is. But then let's loop through and put our items in there. Why do I have a 2 over here? Should remove that. So th, let's see here, one. So I can move these rows, I can remove them, 1, 2, like this, and then just increase the column span here to 3. Okay, let's see that. Okay, that works fine. Now let's loop through and add all the items we have in the cart. So also here I can say your cart instead of just having that down here. So after the button, I can put a break tag and say your cart and then put a break tag. Let's see that. Okay, so coloring here isn't the best, so let's put a style and say color and do that. So let's put that gray there so that we can see what's happening. So your cart, and then there it is. So now let's display cart content. So there's product name, there's quantity, and there's amount. So we know where to get these things from. We already have this in the cart view. So let me check that cart view. We already have this part here. So I'm just going to copy this for each loop that we have here. Copy that, and instead of having to redo, since there are no classes here, I think it's gonna be just fine. So paste. Yep, I think so. Let me move things over. Like that. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, so we don't need the image column at all, so I'll remove this image column, just like we don't have it here. So 1, 2, 3. So product quantity amount, so that's product quantity amount and then total. Okay, so that works, I think. Okay, what have I done? Oh, I haven't saved, that's why. Okay, so there we go. We have that, we have quantity, we have amount, and we shouldn't be able to remove at this point because that should be done only in the cart section. So I will remove this final column here. And there we go. So that's much better. Okay, so the cart is here and we need the information here. And then back to cart should take us back to the cart, and continue should make us go to the payment page. So here, depending on what was chosen, so let's make card preferred here. Let's go to card here. This is the input which has card. So what I want to do is make sure it's checked already by default. So yeah, that should work. And then back to cart should have a link. So this is easy here. We just put our root and then slash cart like that. Okay, but we have to wrap the button inside the A tag. So let's do it like this. Move that there. Let me copy this again. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so now that we have information here, we don't really need to submit the information in the cart. The information that needs submitting is this information right here. So this should be an actual form, so that when we click here, we're actually submitting a form. So this is back to cart is already done. This is continue. This is a this is the submit button. So that's fine. So let's see where this div ends that contains this. So enter your details. This is fine. So within this, your name, etc., etc., we can add a form. So let's just put method as post like that, and then copy this. Let me make sure we cover. Oh, okay. So let's go down here. We'll put the closing tag right under the button, and then let's move everything over so that it's clear it's within the form like that. Okay. Excuse me. Now the form must submit and then do some Stripe connection. But before we do any Stripe connection, we must be able to actually save what we have done, right? Before we even connect to Stripe and all that, we should be able to save the user information. So let's get that done first. So their card is selected by default. And then if you don't submit your name, your email, etc., we should get errors here. So let's fix that issue. So since this is a checkout thingy, we can actually create a model to connect to the database, because we want to save this information. So we're just going to call the table checkout or something. Maybe let's call it actually this is an order, so let's call it orders here. So let's just go to models, and here I want to copy maybe the product model. Let me just copy what's in here, right click, new file, and let's paste and save this. So this one is order, single, because usually these models we use singular, so order.php, that's fine. So everything is good. In here we're going to save this in orders like that. Okay, same with this. Let me change that to order. Very nice. And then let's look at what columns we actually need. So here we have a name for the user, the email, and phone. So let's add those first. So name, oh, name was already there, right? Email, phone number, and maybe the amount, total amount, we're going to need that. Let's check what else. We have the phone number, we have the delivery address. So you can add as much information as you need here. So we don't put spaces on column names. So the delivery address. Then we also need a user ID, of course, to know who has done this order. And then here we'll need a date as well. Those are important things. And what else? I think that's about it. Then we're going to need another table to store the order details themselves, these ones, so that if the user wants to see exactly what they bought, they should be able to catch that. But that's another table entirely, so we're going to recreate that table as well. Now here to create the table, of course, we're going to use these same columns. So I'm going to grab this just for reference. So name is there already, that's fine. Maybe we can change this to 60 because here a user can put first name and last name. And then here we have email. Let me actually duplicate this, because email, we're just going to put 100 there and change that to email. And what else? Maybe the phone number as well. Duplicate. So we say phone, variable character. I don't know how many characters you would want for the phone number. But don't use an integer for the phone number, because if the number starts with a 0, that 0 will be removed. Unless that's what you want, then that's fine. Let me remove these guys. This one is an amount, that's fine. And then what else? User ID can be an int. The default should be 0. Oh, so user ID is already here. So let me just remove this. What else am I looking for? Delivery address. So here we can do delivery address, variable character. This can be a bit longer, maybe 1024 or even more. You can add more if you want. So phone, This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, the date is missing. So what's more here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How come there's 6 and the date is missing? There's amount, user ID. What is going on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's email. Ugh, I'm getting lost, but it doesn't matter because if there's an error, I'll see it later. So date time, default 0, doesn't matter. Okay, so the name there, and then there's an order ID. Okay, so that's great. What else here can we add? I think that's about it. We'll see if we get any errors and add more information. So the name, we can put a key just in case we want to search for a particular user. You can also in the orders, you can also put the email, but don't forget the comma there. All right, so the table name should be orders. Change that. All right. So the amount here we have to validate. So first of all, a name is required. Let's do delivery address. A delivery address is required. What else? The name, address, phone number is required as well. Okay, and then what else? Phone number. Did we put email? That email is required. Okay, an email is required. What else? Delivery address. Amount will be auto-generated, so that's fine. User ID is auto-generated, date auto-generated. So just a name, email, and delivery address and phone number. So I think that does it there. All right, pretty good, very good. Now let's create one for order details as well. So I'm just going to copy everything from here and go to models, new file, paste. Now for order details, everything is auto-generated, so we don't really need to validate anything. So this one is order underscore details. Could be detail without an S. So order detail, save. So let's remove that S from there. Order underscore details is the actual table name. Okay, so with order details, we need to know the quantity. This is the product name, the quantity, the amount, and the total. Now here we don't just need to save the product ID. We need to save the actual details at that time, because if in case you edit the product in future and you only saved its ID, it would be hard to actually get the actual product that they saved. So here it's product. Actually, let's just use the technical terms, description, quantity, and amount, like that, and then maybe a total, like so. We don't need the date because the date will be saved with the order itself. So quantity, amount, and total, and description. This is all we actually need. So let's remove that and that. Yep. That should be great. Here, no validation required because all this information is automatically generated. So we create the table. That's all we need to do. So what do we start with here? Instead of user ID, I'll do quantity. Default can be 1 because at least you need one item. Then the amount, that's fine. Amount and total should be the same pretty much. And phone number, let's remove that. Delivery address, out. This one we can add description. Description can be maybe 100 characters, I don't know. So quantity is there, so that's description. Quantity, we don't need email. It's total amount. I think that's fine. In here we don't really need to search for any of this, so no need for any keys whatsoever. So just make sure you remove that comma at the end there. And then the table name should be order details, like that. Okay, so a much smaller model right there. Okay, so very good. So now that we have these two models, we need to create the tables that they represent. So let's go to the checkout.php controller, and we can do that here just to have those guys do their thing. So let me duplicate this twice. That way I can put order and order detail. Okay, like so. And then duplicate this as well. Say order, so that we instantiate those, and order detail, and the same thing here, order and order detail. All right, so we instantiate all the classes we need. This is great. Now we can do create table, and I'm going to start with this one, order create table, duplicate that, order detail create table. So all I need to do now is refresh the page, and it should create the required tables, but it says invalid value for date. So there's only one of these that has a date, which is order. So let's look at the query quite here. Let's see, date, date time, default value. So let's just remove that default value. We don't need it. Let's refresh, and there we go. So things are looking good. Now I can do PHP my admin. Let's see, localhost PHP my admin. I want to see the database in here and see what information I have there. If I go to local shop, let's see there. So there we go. We have orders as a table. There it is. And order details as well as a table. So, oh, I forgot one thing on order detail. See, we have to match the order details with the order number. So I need the order ID, very important. So just like int here, I will duplicate this and put order. I don't know why I forgot how I forgot that. Order ID, it's an int, unsigned, but it's just not the primary key, or does it have auto increment? Then, which means now we have reason to add at least one key. So let's bring that, put that comma, add a single key, which is order ID, like that. So if you want, you can drop the table before trying to create it. So since I haven't removed the code for the checkout.php here, I can simply do this, add a query. I don't need to do that. Let me just go here and delete it. So I'm just going to go to local shop and order details, just drop this table. That should do. And then come back here and refresh the page. And now I should have the order details back, and there it is with order ID this time. Okay, cool. So now we have our tables as required. Let's go to checkout.php and remove these table create thingies here. And now we are ready to add some data. Now at this point, once we post something, it should reflect down here. So I'm just going to go down here and say if something was posted. So we go here and say if request. Now we don't have request. Do we have request? No, we don't have it yet. So I'll duplicate this and put request there. That way I can also use it here. Okay, great. So if request posted, like that, don't forget the brackets because it's a function. So if something was posted, then it's time to save to the database. First of all, we need to validate the information. So we're going to use order to do that. So I'm going to say if order validate, and what are we validating? What was posted. So it's post like that. Okay. So if, not ref. So if things went well here, we go ahead and do some other stuff. But if it didn't, we're going to add inside data. We'll add errors like this, and it's going to be equal to the errors inside orders, like so. Okay, great. So that does that. Okay, cool. But if things did not go south, then we'll do some other things. But let's deal with the errors first, because we know we want to post without errors. And here I want to just copy what I used in the sign up process here. So I will put this one. Please fix the errors below. I'll copy that to the checkout page and enter your details. Just after that, I will add this. Let's leave some good space there. Let me move this in like so. Please fix the errors below. So let's go down here and try that. Okay, so cool. Please fix the errors below. But we have other errors here. It says undefined array key phone on line 42. Where is that? This is in the order.php. Okay, so it's complaining line 42 here if is numeric. Actually, this was supposed to be if is empty. So let's remove this is numeric here and there and paste if. Wait, are there too many of these? Yes, too many. All right, there we go. So we shouldn't have those errors now. It just says, please fix the errors below. So let's go back to the checkout here. Another thing is we have to add names for these guys. So there's a name here. Your name is just name, and then email. We'll put email and phone number and phone. Now, keep in mind that we can simply put the word required here to make sure it doesn't post if the thing is not given. But these are JavaScript, and the user can easily edit these to manipulate the data. So we don't want that. So phone and then delivery address. All right, and oh, we need to check for the payment method as well. So name, payment method, this is fine. Now the payment method will not be saved. We're just using it to know which payment method to use. That's really it. So if this one is checked, then we will know this is the one. Now the name should not be on the label. It should be on this. So let me move this name over to here and remove this entirely from the label, because that's not where it should be. And here I will move this there remove event type. We don't need that on the label at all. Okay, so there we go. Payment method, good. Is it checked or not? All right, so good. And there we go. So everything here is looking great, except if I go back to sign up, I want to grab this part that shows an error on each one of these. So just after this div here, let me select all of these guys: delivery address, payment method. Definitely one of them will be shown, will be selected. And let me paste this here. Okay, so now I'm going to shift select like so I can tab in like that, and then move one step up and do some deleting like so. The only thing now is to match the thing I'm looking for. In this case, this is delivery address. This one is phone. That's the error I want to see there, just for the phone. This one I want to see for the email. And this one for the name. Okay, very cool. Now, names should not be numbers as well. So let's go back to order here. So if empty name and name is required, let's do an else as well. So if I now duplicate this if part, we need to have a proper structure for our name. So here I'm just going to say preg match, so that we match the name against something. So let's just say if not preg match, if it doesn't match what we create here, let's put a pattern there, and let's put the content right there like so. So if it doesn't match a pattern we add here, then we have a problem. So we would do, I want it to have letters A to Z and capital A to capital Z. We could simply put an I here to make it case insensitive, but I'll keep it like this, and then close that like so, and then plus any number of letters, and then a space like this, and then let's duplicate that and repeat. So let me remove that space at the end like so, because even a space here means something. So this is supposed to match some letters at the beginning, a space, and some letters there, which means first name and last name. And then here we'll put a caret like this to say this has to be from the beginning to the end. Let's put a $sign there at the end to show that. So let's see, please enter a valid first and last name. Okay, like that. So you can put the error messages you want, really. All right, that's good. Now let's come back to check out. Where is this? Yeah, I think this is good. We can close the sign up view for now, and let's come back and let me enter. So there we go. A phone number is required, name required, email required, and then let's put our old value, trusty old value thingy here. So I'll just say value and say old value like we did previously, and then we say this one is for name. So let me copy this as well to the email. Boom, change that to email, and then old value for phone number as well. That one is phone, and old value for delivery address as well. So delivery address, and then we have old value for input here. Actually, I'll change these checkboxes to radio buttons. That way you can select both. Okay, that is better. So let me put this. This one is, let me remove the value. We actually don't need value here. Just like we don't need that. What have I done? Let me remove this. Oh, I forgot these guys. Okay, cool. Oh wait, I shouldn't have removed this. Should just remove the brackets, so the commas I mean. Okay, so instead of old value, this one should be old. Is it old checked or something? Let's change that name to payment method. Copy that and paste it here. So if you forget the function name, just go back to functions in the core and let's find it. So let's look for old checked is there actually. So that's the one I'm looking for, and old select. Okay, so that's fine. That should work just fine. So let's see if these would disappear one by one. I'm just gonna add a phone number there. Maybe I don't need the pluses there because it will check for numeric. Okay, too few arguments found in old checked. So old checked is special. It has to have two values. The other one should be a value. So what value should be there? It's just one, I guess, like so. Wait, what is this? Payment method? No. This has to have a value, which is what I forgot. So let's put a value here. One is card, the other one is PayPal. Now, this one should be Stripe. This one should be PayPal. And let's put those values in here to reflect. And here PayPal, yes, like so. Okay, I think we're getting there slowly. Let's reload. Okay, that's good. Please fix the errors below. This one, the error is gone. Delivery address, plot 45. Let's go. Let's put a valid email. Oh, you must also be able to check if the email is valid. So let's just, if I just type something, email disappears, but let's check for valid email as well. So here, email, I can put an else and do a preg match as well. So we'll use inbuilt PHP matching thing for emails. And let me grab this. Let's come back here. So this one is filter var. So if not filter var, that's the var we are filtering. And what are we using to filter it? We are using filter validate email. Yes, I think that's the one. So here we'll say email not valid. Okay. So let's see if it will detect that my email address is invalid, and it has. So let's see. Let's put an actual email. There we go. So your name required. Now if I type a name like this, it will tell me please enter a valid first name and last name. Okay, so John Doe. There we go. So if I now do this, no more errors, as you can see, everything looking good. Yeah, card, PayPal. Okay, very cool. So now if, okay, continue, there we go. So everything is good and we've selected the card there. So now we must submit and save this information. So if this is all good, now all we need to do is save the data. So here we'll say order insert, and that should do like that. And I will put that post information in there like so. Now the thing is, before we insert, we need a little more than what we have submitted here, because we need the date as well. So what I'm going to do is put this information somewhere temporal, like array is equal to that. That way I can add to it and then supply that newly created array instead. So array, let's say date, and add a date. So we'll use the date function and create a I need also the hours, minutes, and seconds. That's good. Okay, so we have a date there. We have also the user ID. So I'll say user ID that we need to add. And for user ID, we will use the session and say user, and we want the ID. Okay, so where is it? We have session there. That's good. So that's fine. What else do we need? These are the columns in here. So there's email, which is already supplied, name supplied, delivery address. So we need an amount, and we need the, okay, user ID and date we've added. So the only thing missing is the amount. So let's come back here. And right about here, I will put amount. And where do I get the amount? Well, the amount is already given in the total here. So I'll grab that total and put it right there. Okay, cool. So that is good. So once we enter this in the order, we now need to add order details, right? So the order details conveniently are inside the data cart as well. So copy. Now we need to be able to actually, what is this? Cart session, blah, blah, blah. If it's not there, it will return. Okay, so here the cart should be an array for things to work, right? So if there's nothing in the cart, it shouldn't even post. So say if is, we need to check if cart is indeed an array, like so, and then say and something was posted. Or we could do the other way around. We start by checking if something was posted, and then we check if this is an array as well, and then yep, we go ahead. So in this case, I want to insert data through the cart here, one row at a time in the user details. So we'll do a for each loop to loop through the cart information and then get whatever data we want. So cart information, key and value. Now the value is an array. So I'll do, what do I do here? I'll say cart underscore array, like that. We don't need the key here because the keys are just 0, 1, 2, not really important. So to go through this, after going through this, we want to insert one item at a time in the table. Now we're using order detail here to insert, and we want to make an array to insert. So first of all, let me clear the array, make it empty, and then I can now start adding stuff. Like for example, what is the quantity? Okay, what quantity, what description, and what amount? So description, quantity, and amount, and total, like so. Okay, this is all we need. Oh, also we need the order ID to be added as well. Very nice. So now the thing is, we need to know what the order ID was. And in order to do that, because we've just done an insert and we don't know what the ID for that insert is. Now you should keep in mind that there could be several people at the same time making orders. So you can't simply go to the database and check what was the last entry. You have to make sure that the user ID actually matches. And to be even more precise, you have to add, it's better to check for all three, right? User ID, exact date, and exact amount. That way you know it's the right order you are getting. So here we'll say get ID for last added order. So here we'll just use row to get it. And then we're going to use the order table, since this is an order we're trying to check. And we'll use the where clause, of course, like that. So then after we do that, we're going to check if row is a thing at all, and then loop through it. Oh, actually, no, not loop through it. If it is a thing, oops. Actually, we want to use the where we use the first, so that we just grab the first result that we get. And here I'm going to say ID is equal to whatever we got from the row ID, like that. Okay, cool. So this is what will give us the order ID, like so. Awesomeness. But here we need to give an array where the user ID is equivalent to this user ID. Now this is to you know what, it's interesting because here look at that. Unfortunately, we have to redo this. Okay, no problem. Let's do array to, let's do amount, and a few duplicates is equal to this array amount. Let's put that there. Actually, maybe just the date and the user ID are enough. Yeah, anyway, it's up to you. I think maybe all three, just to be sure. You don't give somebody else's order. That would suck. So let me copy this, paste, amount. I think that's fine. Then let's add this array to in here instead. Now, it's always good practice to simply just set this to an empty array, just in case you had used it previously and you didn't realize. Same thing, here we are setting it to something, so that's fine. Okay, so with this, we grab that. If it's a thing, we grab the ID, and then we go through here. Now, on this one, we want the cut array to give us the details. For example, cut array quantity, we want that, because that's what contains the quantity. The amount, though, is inside the row, and then price, like so. And then similarly, total will be a multiplication of amount, of quantity, times total. So let's do that. Total. Very good. Okay, description will excuse me, will be in here, description. So you may be wondering, why am I using row here? And that's because, if you remember, we are adding cart information to a row and then putting the product information there. So that's why we're getting it from there, and things should actually work like this. Interesting. One thing I forgot about order, we have to know whether the order was paid or not. So this is something I missed. So the order should have paid and should have approved. Just in case you need to approve it, you need to actually, I don't know. These are entirely up to you what you want to do here. You can say paid. This one is int. No, actually tiny int, because we just need one column, one item. Tiny int 1, like that. One character is enough, either 1 or 0, 0 or 1. So paid. Then you can have one that has maybe status, so that maybe you can write some information for status there. In case you need to tell the user something, like the status of this is maybe delivered, paid, whatever, you can write something in there so the user can actually see it. default. This one can be allowed to be a null. This is okay. So we have paid, we have status. We should add those. Now, instead of deleting this stuff, I can just manually add it to the orders. Just go to the structure and add 2 more columns. Go. This one is paid. We'll use tiny int, length of 1. This one is status. It's entirely up to you what kind of messages you want to put here, and that will determine the length. So let me save this. Now, there could be times when you want to read by how many were paid and how many were not, so you can put an index on paid if you want. Also, status, I did not specify that it can accept no values, so I'll tick no there to make it accept empty values. All right, so this is good so far. So what we would do is in the checkout again, since now we've added more stuff to this, we can also add, first of all, paid should be 0, because at this point the user hasn't paid yet. And then at this, we can say status, we can put pending here, like so. Okay, so pending, paid, 0. Okay, so that makes sense, and let's give it a shot and see what happens. So from here, I should be able to submit. Oh, and after the submission, we should redirect the user. You know, we're supposed to do a summary before this, but I think it's too many steps. We don't want to we don't want the user to get distracted along the way. So maybe just after they enter this, they should just pay. So here we'll say, instead of continue, actually on the checkout page, let me come down here. We'll just put the word pay instead of continue. Yeah, let's just say pay now. All right, so we've scrapped off the summary. I don't think we need that. You can add the summary if you want, that's up to you. All you need to do is collect this information as we have done, but save it to a session and then display it to the user in case they change their mind. You can also, in case they don't change their mind, you just get all the information from the session and submit. But for now, I think, so if I click now, it should work. But let's see, where should we be redirected at this point? We should go to a page that says, thank you for your payment. Yes, yes. So let's make that page real quickly here. Let's see, if I come down to for each loop, and right about here, we'll say redirect to a page known as thanks. That's great. Okay, so obviously to create that page, we'll use the home. Let me copy that, new, paste, save. This one is thanks, capital T.php. And let me change this to thanks and home to thanks. And we don't need to read anything from the database for this. And we don't need data either, nada. That's all we need. We don't need to use any of these classes at all. So all we need now is to add a view file for the things. So new. What I want to do here is copy the header and footer. So I'll grab the home. Interesting. Yeah. I'll grab what's on the home page here. Right click views, new, paste, save, and save this as thanks.view.php. Here you can put your heartfelt message, thank you for this and that. Let's see here, what am I looking for? I think here all I need to do is maybe a break tag here and there. Let me move this up. See? Thank you for your order. And then we'll do let's see, continue shopping. I don't know what we can do here. Let me leave it be for now. Grab this here. Oh wait, this is the hero section, right? I don't need to put things there. I should be putting things down here. So let me remove this, paste that. Anyway, you can pretty much design whatever you want here. That's up to you. Thank you for your order. So let's try this and go. Oopsie daisy. So it says cannot use object of type class as array. Where is that? On line 75, checkout.php. 75. So right here, so which means the order was created, but the sub orders did not work. So it's telling me I can't use this as, this is because the row contains an object. So I have to change these guys to pointers like this, unfortunately. So everywhere where I have used row, which is only surprisingly just 2 places. So yeah, actually that's really all. But because I'm going to refresh this, let's just go ahead and check on orders here. So there is an order there, very nice, paid 0, everything is good. But let's go back to operations and truncate this table, delete everything and reset the key. Okay, that way when we redo this, we have new information. There we go, and thank you for your order. But the problem is this is not, oh wait a minute, where is the thanks? There it is, there you are. Let's put a style here, maybe there. Color, black. Okay, there we go. So things are looking up. And let's go to orders and see what we've got. So we do have one order. We have order details, and the order ID is 1, as you can see for all of these. And the total is 0, which is insane. So what's going on here? Total shouldn't be 0, but this is a minor issue because we have amount. Total is 0. But I think the reason is if I go to order details, oh, total is here as allowed column. So what is going on? So the problem must be here. So that's total, that's array quantity times array. See, I'm multiplying by total, which is 0. Should be multiplying by the amount. So this is a small issue, not a big deal at all. So let's try and run a query here. I'm just going to say update order details, and then we say set total is equal to quantity times amount. Let's see if that works. Yes, execute, my friend. Browse, and there we go. So it's done. Okay, so now we have correct information, and thank you for your order. If I refresh this now, at least it's visible, right? Thank you for your order. Very cool. So now that things are being saved in the database, now we can go ahead and connect a payment system instead. That way we can do some actual paying. But if I go to my admin section, where is the admin section? Boop. I should be able to go to orders and see what orders were created. So wait, this is on products, right? I want orders. interesting. Anyway, I should be able to see that order information there. So let's fix that real quick. We see the order information and then we connect Stripe. All right, so let's copy products to orders so that we can duplicate it. So I'm going to close all files here for now. And let's go to the admin controller. And in here, I will... I won't actually duplicate this. I wanted to duplicate this whole thing, but not really. So let me put orders here. And let's go to probably the index here will do. Copy that, paste it here, and like so. Okay. So here for login, and here we do orders. Now let's go to actually here what I'll do is add data. Oops, what have I done? And then I just want to read. Let's put data. I'll use rows, and here I'll say order. Not where. I think we use find all and get all of them. Okay. Also, one more thing here. Where is this? In the checkout controller, something I just remembered. Here first might get this one. The order is in descending order, but if somehow one day you change the order, it's better to explicitly say it here that we should order in the descending format. So order type should be equal to descending. It's already set to that, but just to be sure, just in case it changes for some reason, you can check this in the model, in the core model here. There is order type, which is set to descending, but if for some reason it isn't, you can always just make sure it is. So back here to admin and orders. So order find all. Let's also change it here. So instead of let's change the limit to maybe 30 orders, something like this. All right. Okay. So with this, we can now go back to the views admin, and there's actually orders here already. Q. So let me click on orders. It still says products on the header. So let me just edit the admin header. Where is admin header? Right there. So orders here should lead to orders and not products here. So refresh and click. All right, very good. An error, yes. Attempt to assign property limit on a no. Okay, I understand what that means. It just means this thing, we are attempting to apply this on something it doesn't know. So we should create this thing. And we should make sure that we import it over here. We will probably need order detail as well. So let's just do that while we are at it. Now this use here, you could move those guys and put them right here actually. So let's try that instead. Let me put those right about right here before I even I don't know if this actually works, but let's give it a shot, shall we? unexpected token use. Okay, so it's telling me this is not allowed actually, so too bad. Okay, so there we go. So we are on orders, very good. And this is the thingy here, but this is not the information we want inside orders. So let's clean that up, shall we? So what I'll do is go to the order, the product view. Where is this? Products view. And I want to grab, let's see here, down here where we have this for each loop in the T body, and grab the entire T body thingy and go to orders and replace this T body with this one. Bam. All right. So we have our ID here. We don't need an image. We don't have an image thing. Here we have the name. That's fine. We don't have the quantity. We have name, delivery address, right? Let's see here. What do we have in the orders table? So we have name, email, and phone. So more important things there. So grab this, put it there. Email. And let's say phone. We don't need the escape here on these things. Just on the name. And let me put delivery address here. Now orders should not be meant for editing or deleting, but we can just leave the delete there. Just in case you want to, but should probably not be there. So order, phone, maybe to delete those you are testing, and delivery address. And then finally the amount. So maybe we can swap these two. All right. What am I doing? Okay, that's about it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Delivery address, that's fine. Oh, we need status, right? So let's grab this guy, status and paid. So paid. Now paid, we can do something like, if paid, we put a question mark and say yes. Otherwise, full colon, we say no, like that. Okay. And then here we put status. All right. So paid, status. Let me remove this break tag. And then amount, yes. That's it. And then phone, email, and customer name. Oh, okay. So it looks like it was good enough. There we go. So order, customer name, email, phone, amount, paid, no, cancelled. No, that shouldn't be cancelled. That should be status. Wait, it says status here. So what is going on? Why does, oh, I haven't saved. There we go. Okay, so status, delivery address, true. Okay, so at least we have an order here. Now, what I want is to be able to hover on this and see the entire thing down here. So on hover, we can put an on hover effect. Excuse me. So let me just add a style here real quick to facilitate this. And I will give the row a name, right? Row. Wait. I think maybe on the name here, customer name, right? Inside the row, I guess, customer name. Actually, maybe it would be better to open the whole thing up. Orders, detail, etc. Okay, so maybe instead in action here, instead of delete, we can put view. So let's do view. Maybe not view, maybe detail. Yeah, let's call it that, and then an ID there, like so. Okay, cool. This is fine. So here we can show some order details if we want to, but this is not necessary for now. We have the order at least. We should be able to click view and see some details in there, but not for now. But at least we have this. What we want is for the paid to change to yes, so that we know that we managed to pay. So in order to do this, we now need to connect to a payment gateway, and let's see how that can be done. Yes. Now, before we move on, you notice that the status here isn't showing anything, and that's probably because if we go to the order, here we don't have the status added here, so that's why it wasn't saved. So let's add status there. That should work. So let's do one test and add one more order. And let me go here. Also, one thing we should do is we should allow people to see their own orders. So if not is logged in, and we can remove this admin requirement here. So let's remove that. We just need somebody to be logged in, but I just want to cut this like so. And then here, if a user is an admin, for example, so we'll do this. We'll say if session user role is equal to admin, like this, then we will do this. But then if they're not an admin, then let's just show them their own orders instead of all the orders. So if they're admin, we do that. If they are not, we won't use the find all, we will use the where clause instead. And then we will grab user ID, like so, and point it to an actual user ID. So let's create the user ID from here by using the session. So we're going to say user ID is equal to session user ID. All right. So at least a user can have access to their own order. And on top of this, let's go to the admin header. So what I want to do here is show from here products, users, and dashboard. I guess users and products only is enough. I want to hide this to only when the user is an admin. So if the user is an admin, we show these. Then if they are not, we show them the rest, like so. So let me move these guys here. So you can put anything that needs to only appear with admins here, and the rest can be ignored. Okay, that's cool. So nothing changes here because here we are in admin mode, otherwise these two will not show. And then dashboard, we can also limit what the user can see. Here we don't actually need them to, let's see, you can just have a number of orders here. That's it when we are not in admin mode. Anyway, for now this is fine. What I want to do is go to the front end and add some orders here again. So I want to add another order, just maybe 2 items or 3 items like so, and then go to the cart, and in the cart we click checkout, and let's do Stu John Doe. I think that would make more sense. Email, phone number, card payment, and that's your order, and pay. Thank you for your order. Okay, so now if I go to my admin section, I will see orders, and there is a second order, and you can see now the status is indicated. But now instead of directing our user to from the cart here, also we have to remove what's in the cart once we are done. But instead of redirecting our user to the thank you page immediately, we have to take them to the Stripe page instead. So how do we do that? So what we're going to do is create, let me go to checkout.php. So instead of the redirect here, right, we are going to create a function. So we'll call this one Stripe checkout. Okay. Now in the Stripe checkout, we should give it all the information that it needs in order to facilitate what we want. Mostly it's this information here for the order. We don't want the order details themselves. We just want this part, most likely, the array here. The amount, the date, blah, 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 information, the user ID, and so on. So this is inside the array. Unfortunately, we are reusing this array here. So by the time we get here, it won't be here at all. So we should find a way to preserve this. So in order to preserve it, let's just use a different array here. Maybe we'll try the number 2 instead. All right, let's move to array 2 there as well. Okay. That way, what I'm trying to avoid is overriding this one, so that by the time we get here, it still has all the information we can use. So here what we can do as well is to check to see what, let me move here, what payment method was chosen. So you say if array payment method is equal to Stripe, like that, then we are going to do Stripe payment. Then you can do an else statement and then do PayPal payment. So let's move this one down here like so. So let's go ahead and PayPal checkout like that. But we shouldn't just leave it like this. I need us to be very explicit. PayPal like that. Okay. And once that checkout is done, yeah, I think we can go to the thanks page, no problem. let's see. Let's actually remove this. This won't be necessary after this. So let's add a few of these, two of these functions to make them work. So I'm going to go to my functions.php. Now here you can add more code, no problem to use. So we'll say function Stripe checkout, and then here we'll just say data, like so. Okay, and then we'll create another function similar to this one, but PayPal checkout. So PayPal checkout like this. All right, so let's start with Stripe checkout. How do we make this work? So we have to look at Stripe's API and figure out how it works. So what we do is, hopefully by now you have created your Stripe account. If you haven't, please just go to stripe.com and create an account. Account creation is free, of course, and immediately you notice that you are in test mode when you open the dashboard. So this is the dashboard. The home is right here. You will see something like this when you initially log in after entering all your details. And then, because we are developers in this case, we have to click on the developers stage. Now, the way Stripe works is it's meant to make things easy. You can have customers and products and actual prices already written inside here. So if you go to products, you can add products to this thing here. Okay, so like I was testing here, you can add a product here, another product here, and give them values, and then you can grab those links. You can create links using these products and their prices and so on. But we don't want to do that. We want to go to the developer stage instead, because we want our prices to be dynamic and the information we give to be very dynamic. So we can't use that section there. So instead, what we're going to do is go to developers. So click on developers there. And what we really want is the documentation, so we know how the API works. So this shows you an overview of your integration here, the API requests you've done, the ones that were successful and the ones that failed, which is very, very useful. And it can show you recent errors here, which is also extremely useful. And then we're going to talk about webhooks. These, a webhook is simply, I think I had explained in an earlier video on that Stripe will send information to your website to tell it whether the transaction was successful or not. And that link that you give it to access at that time is called a webhook. Or is it? Is it that the web? Yeah, actually, that's the information it sends you. That's the webhook. Otherwise, I think it's the URL. So anyway, we're going to create our webhooks as well from here, no problem. But in order for your webhook to work, you can't do that on a local server, because Stripe has to have access to the computer that has your website. So we're going to move our website onto the online system. That way we can have access to webhooks. But we don't need webhooks just yet. We just need to communicate with the Stripe server for now. So when you click on developers, here it says learn more about testing, right? So let's click here. Oh, it moved the entire page, right? That's not really what I wanted. So I'll go back a second. I'll right click to open that in a different tab instead. That way I can keep this page. Okay, so this is the Stripe documentation. Documentation, very, very important. Now you can spend weeks reading this documentation. But usually what you do when you have documentation like this, just go straight to the what is called the quick start. So developer tools. So here you may land on the home, but click on payments here so that we go to payment. There's a Stripe checkout here, but let's go to online payment here. And then there's a quick start guide here, which is nice. That's what I'm looking for, quick start. Okay, so the quick start here shows you how, or the code you're supposed to use to add your content here. But the problem with this code right now is that it has currency, right, an amount, but it doesn't have product details. So I'm looking for one that has product details. Now if you click on download full app here, you get this thing they created. Also make sure you are on PHP. You select PHP as your language because that's what we are using here. What I want instead is to grab because you need their library actually in order to connect to their system. So you don't actually need it, but it makes things easier. So we're not going to use Composer. I rarely use Composer, so let's go to GitHub instead. So here, if you right click on or download the Stripe PHP library source code from GitHub, then we can get it from there. So if you open the GitHub page, this is what you get. So this is a Stripe / Stripe PHP. All right, so this is good. So here what you do is you click here and download the zip file. So just download that and we should be good. And then let's read the instructions. Instructions are always good to read. So it says if you're using Composer, these are your instructions here. You're going to use require, vendor, autoload, blah, blah, blah. This is fine. That's how you include. After you run the Composer thing to install, and then you can require the file like that. But we are going for the manual installation here. So instead, we're going to need to use this for the require part to get the init.php file instead of the autoload, because autoload only comes with Composer. So since we are not using Composer here, we'll have to run this path. So this is good to remember. So I'm just going to grab this part here so we don't have to come back here again. So I'll copy that. And this shows you how to initialize and so on, but we won't copy this code from here. We will copy from the docs instead. So what I would do is come here, create a new file, paste this. I just want this path here to remember. It won't be exactly that path, but at least it's a good start. Then let's come back here to the docs themselves. So I want to look at the quick start. Usually is for the setup, just to look at what you need. So I read this and it says you need the library. So that's why I went to install it, to grab it. Now, once you get the library, what you will get in your downloads folder is a Stripe PHP master .zip file. So I'm just going to grab that item and I want to put it in my folder. So I'm going to go to models, because every new code that you bring in should be inside models, because that's where it's going to search for anything it can't find. So better to put it there. So let's extract to it. So there it is. Actually, I should have done extract here, because now there's that. I don't want it to be in a folder within a folder. So I'll delete that and just say extract here. That way the Stripe folder goes directly to the content. So here there's no auto load at all, but there's this init.php file. So that's what we're supposed to load first, as it said here, path to Stripe PHP, then init.php. So I just needed that reminder there. So once we have that, let's click on accept payment so that we see how to accept a payment. And oops, what did I do? I think I clicked something. Did I click something? Okay, great. Actually, we are on the page itself, still on the same page. So set up Stripe. There's a checkout button here. And then it comes to this. And then let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Next up, checkout session, creation endpoint, use this new page. Next, update the checkout session creation. Okay, so this is great. And then down here, it shows us that when testing cards, this is what you enter. So the 424242, that's the card number. and then enter any future date for expiration, and enter any 3 digits for the CVC number, enter any billing postal code, and then click pay. So those are testing instructions. That's great. So what I really wanted is this code right here, because it has the require, it has the key that we should put there, and it has all these items. So line items, price data, currency, and then the product data is there, and the unit amount and the quantity. So that is important there. It has all that, which it has here as well. So mode payment, what's the difference anyway with this one and this one? Doesn't look like there is any difference at all. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just copy this one here. So make sure you're on PHP and click copy. So let's copy that, and let's come back to functions, and right here I will paste this code like so. So let's go back here. Very cool. Now we don't need the PHP tags because we're already in PHP mode here. So let's remove those two. So header, that's nice. Location. Now location here is going to be the checkout session URL, which is the, what's happening here is this. We are giving away information. We are putting the information of our order in here and sending it to the Stripe server, and then it's going to return some result, and that result will be inside the checkout session URL. So this checkout session is going to run something and send that information to Stripe server, and then in return something will be added to it, which is the URL. So this is the success URL to tell us that things are successful. This is where it should go. Ours is named thank you, or is it thanks? It's thanks or something. We can make another page called cancel, but this should be the URL to your page. Now since we're on localhost here, you can actually set it up so that your localhost system can work, but I think it will give us an opportunity to upload something to the live server so that we can test things from there as well. You can learn something from there, so we'll do it on the live server instead. A free live server you can use. So here, since we don't have vendor autoload.php, we need to go to the model Stripe PHP and get the init file right there. Okay, so let's see how we move to that path. First of all, always we should remember that we are always by default in the public folder. So I'm going to do ... to move out of the public folder and into the app folder there. So app, and then slash, where is this? So from there we are moving to, actually since this is inside core, I'm not sure whether this is relative to the functions folder or not. Anyway, we're going to see. If it refuses, then we'll know it's relative to the core folder. But then we go to app, and then app, from there we go to models, and then slash. Then there's that stripe dash php dash master.php. Oh, sorry, that's not the one. Inside there is an init file. That's the one we are looking for. So init.php, like that. Okay, that's great. And then here you see there's a SK secret key test. So there's a secret key there. I think it adds this automatically if you are logged in. That is, I guess. So we can check our secret key by going to developers, and then we go to API keys right here. So we are in developers API keys, and then you can review your secret key right there. Okay, so mine seems to be correct. Yeah, it seems to be correct. So you can copy it from there, no problem. You'll be asked to enter your password again, I guess. So here what we do now is, you see here we can name our product. So our product will be named with just an order number, I guess. That would be good enough. So we have data that we got from the checkout page, which comes into AAR like this. The only thing is we don't have the order ID, which comes in later afterwards. So we can add it to the array like this and say order ID like that, and then put that ID there. That way we have order ID in the array like so. Now in case we don't get to this, we should just put it here so we don't have an error in case it doesn't exist. So we'll put 0 like so, but then here to be replaced with the actual value. So that's good. So back here, we'll have an order ID from here. So let me copy this. Now the name of this, we're just going to name it order. And then we'll put that hash symbol, order number, and then here let's concatenate the data order ID like so. Okay, cool. So we have that. Let me check this again. Okay. That's fine. What about the amount? So back in checkout here, where did we get the total amount? We got it from here. So in the array here, there is amount, which is right there. So that's cool. So which means we can get that from here. So I'll put that, but in here it's called data. So let's do that. And then quantity, let's just put 1 because it's one order anyway, US dollar, blah, blah, blah. Now the thing is, we need to be able to send more information than this because we need to know who this order belongs to, for example, okay? So we need to be able to add some metadata. So let's go back to our documentation and see how we can add metadata here. So let's see. Multi-party payments, product and prices, more payment scenarios. Okay, this doesn't seem like Stripe elements. So let me click here. Stripe elements. Let's see, payment overview. You know, there's where is this? Let's see, save payment method details. Can we search? Let's search for meta. Let's see, lookup, perform searches, query, payment intent, verification. Yeah, this doesn't look like okay, so this one is session, right? This is a session. So what we need to look for is how to create a session so that we get all the options that are available. So understanding declined payments, verification, how sessions work. Do we have somewhere? Let's see, payment after payment. Let's click here and see what's here. Stripe elements. Let's try that. Payment element. Okay, this is a checkout though. You see it says Stripe and checkout and then sessions. So within sessions, the overall thing is checkout. So let's look at Stripe checkout then. So there's an overview here. I think if we are looking for some way to add metadata, we'll see it here somewhere. Make line item quantity, add shipping. So additional features, great. Customize your integration. That looks promising. Analyze, start free trial, post guest customer payment. You know, I've worked with with a lot of API documentation, and Stripe is one of the it's one of the most difficult, because the thing you're really looking for, they never really, it's kind of hard to find what you are really looking for. So what I'm looking for here is just metadata, how to add additional data, but I can't find it. I know how to do it, but I want to show you guys how you can actually find it in case you forget, because I think that's more important than just showing you how to add it to checkout. I eventually found it because I had this problem when I was integrating on my own, but I eventually found it, but now I can't seem to find it. So how checkout works, let's click here and see. Maybe we can be lucky to find metadata. Mode payment, metadata. You know, there's supposed to be a list of all possible items you can add here, because here we have, you see, line items, we have price, we have the mode, we have, so there should be one list which lists everything that you can actually use and fulfill your order, manage. So if I fail to find it here, customize payment element, let's try this, let's see. This is something else. This is for the front end, not really what I'm looking for. Let's see here, developer to all products. Let's go to the home side. Let's see. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong part of the documentation. Let's see where it says checkout. Let's see here. So it brought me back here to the how about payment links, pricing tables, add shipping. Yeah, no. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how this is done, and you can search the documentation later and figure out where to get that information. I can't really find it anymore. It's so weird. All right, so since we can't find it, let's go back. So right here where we have this, we have everything we need. We have the currency. You can check the list of currencies to change it to something else. Currently it's US dollar. We have the unit amount, we have quantity, that's good. Now after mode here, anywhere, it doesn't really matter as long as it's not within the line items like this. You can add metadata. So let's call it metadata like this. Okay, now this part is very important because in here you can add extra data that will help you to identify this particular order once you get the information back. Because once Stripe sends information back to your website, there will be no session data anymore in that system. So it will be very hard to know who created this order, when was it created, and so on and so forth. So here you can add very valuable information that you can later use. So for example, you can add a user ID here, like so, just for identification purposes. So inside data, we do have user ID, I think, if I am not mistaken. We'll do this and say user ID, like so. This should be enough metadata actually on its own, like this. But you can add more data if you want. So if we go to checkout here, you see we do have a user ID. You can also grab the amount, and okay, amount will come whether we like it or not on the other side. But you can also add the date if you want, or you can add the username or whatever it is that will help you identify this order when it comes back. So you can also add date, for example, because date has minute detail up to the second, and then you can use that when reading to verify that this thing was paid for. So let's try date as well, just for the sake of it. So we can add, just so I can add 2 items here. So the date, we can add it here and say date. Alrighty then. So this is good. We have our metadata. You can put session IDs or unique identifiers here to identify exactly which order it is. That's up to you how you choose to do that. But this is enough. This is a success URL. It means it will send the information to this. Once everything is success, it will redirect the user to this. So for now, I'll just do localhost / I don't know if it will work, but let's just try it. I'll call it local shop and then /thanks, like that. So is it correct? Yes. Local shop, public actually. So let's try public /thanks. Anyway, so this is what it is. So that's the Stripe checkout, and they need to redirect us. So things should work. If I've done everything correctly, things should work at this point. So let's try a checkout here. Back to John Doe again. Let's use our email. Let's use some kind of phone number, and there. So once I hit this, I should be redirected to Stripe. So let's try this out. So click on that and let's see. And there we go. Look at that. I'm redirected to the Stripe checkout. And there it is. Look at that. So that's the amount I'm supposed to pay. I'm not sure about that. I didn't pay attention to the amount when I was looking at this. So let me try it here. Let's just say localhost, local shop, public, and cart, right? Let's see what's in the cart. Yep, it's $577. Oh, that's one thing I forgot actually. So $577 here, that's $500, but here it says 5.77, right? So you have to multiply this by 100 for some reason. That's because the way Stripe works is it doesn't put decimal places. So instead of putting decimals, it just adds the numbers are divided or multiplied. They're multiplied. So multiply by 100 like this. So important there. And then once you grab your so as you can see, it shows your company name, which is Free PHP Tutorials in my case, and then you see the name of your product, which is order number 3, and then the amount. Then here you can put your email. Now the thing is, email here you may actually pass in your email before we get to this point. So there's product data here, there's the name, and also there's customer data actually. Let's go back to the documentation here. Let's see for a second. Online payment. Let's go to the quick start. Let's go to accept payments. I'm sure there's somewhere where there's customer information, so you can go through all these sample stuff. Product data, name, US dollar. Some of them will have customer data. So let's see here how to write customer data. Maybe it can search and give us something. Customer management, custom payment flow, online payment, customize payment elements. No. Customize your program. Customers, let's see that. So there's invoicing, there's customers. Let's see if there's any code. Nothing. Well. Interesting indeed. Payment scenarios, more payment scenarios. Let's see. Future payment, save payment details during payment. Let's see there. Maybe there's some code that will show us some customer detail. Let's see here. Maybe email actually, customer email or something. Hold on a second here. Wow, this documentation is very disappointing to say the least. I already know how to do this, but I was hoping this time I could actually find it in the documentation. Oh my god. Anyway, let's just do it without wasting time. Now, By the way, there is product name here. You can also add product description. So let's do this description like that, and you can add a description here if you'd like. Maybe there is some form of description like this is an order. I don't know. I'll just write this is a description. You can write what you want there. Can be dynamic data, of course, but then you can put customer email, just like we have mode payment here. You can put customer underscore email like that, and then you put the email. Now we do have the email here, I think, because they do send an email in this array. So we should have this inside data email like so. Okay, something like that. So it's customer email there. So if you check the documentation properly, you will find these things. There's customer email, and then there's also product metadata as well, but we'll use this now. This will effectively use this email without giving the user the opportunity to type in a different one. So let's go back here in case that's your thing. So let's go back here. Let's try this again. We already have some content. You see it's $500. So let's see if that is corrected. So John Doe, let's use our email there. Let's put our phone number. Let's put a delivery address, and then let's say pay. Now on the description, you can put, if you want, that is, you can put the delivery address here just to tell them where this is going to be, just in case. It doesn't really matter what you put here. It's just that there's chance for you to put some kind of message here and say delivered to, and then you put your full colon there, and then put it like that. All right. That way you can put a delivery address. Okay. There we go. So let's click pay and see what happens now. So if there is something wrong, you're going to see errors instead. So I'll show you that as well. So now at least you can see it's $500 as it should be. And then here you see delivered to, and then it would put plot number, and then this is order number 4. And as you can see now, the email is set in stone. I can't edit it this time. So let's try and make a payment, shall we? So if you remember correctly, it told us to just put 42 throughout, like so, until the end. Then add any future date there. Add any 3-digit number. You can put a name on the card. Doesn't really matter here. So that's for testing. You select your country and securely save my information. That's up to the user to select. And then here we click pay. So let's click pay. Now it's processing the payment. Let's see that. We'll take a second. The green. And look at that. Thank you for your order. Awesomeness. So now things worked out, but if I go to, let's see here, if I go to the cart, the information is still there. If I go to my admin and orders, you see the orders here. This is the latest one, but payment says no, it hasn't been paid. Okay, so let's fix all those. So the first one we have to fix is where we erase the data from the session, from the cart, that is. So once the payment went through, then we should erase the data. But we should only erase the data after we receive the message from the server telling us that things went well. So here you can put your own console. If things were cancelled here, let's put this one here. We put that link, the console link, and we can copy that from the thank you. So here there's thanks. Let me copy all of this, right click, new file, paste, and let me change that to cancelled. And you can write payment cancelled so that you are very specific on what you're talking about, but this is fine for me. Okay, good. So cancelled.php, very cool. And then now we can go to thank you. Where is thanks? Where are you? Thanks. There we go. Copy everything. Right click on the views profile, paste, and then your order was cancelled. So you can put whatever you want, continue shopping, blah blah blah, cancelled.view.php, right? There we go. Okay, very cool. So let's test that as well. So I'm going to click. Let's go back. Since we already have our things in the cart, we haven't removed them. So let's go checkout and so here we'll assume every order is not paid for. Let's try a different name, maybe John Doe. We'll try a different name later. Let's try a new delivery address, just some new text, and then let's go pay. All right, so I'm going to try the cancel now, see how that will work. So there it is, and then now I can simply cancel. Oh, wait a minute, there's no cancel button here, is there? Okay, that is weird. So we can't even test that. So if I go back, let's go to... Okay, so now what we need is the webhook. So everything works here as intended. Let's go to the admin. If I go to orders, so there's one that I've created here. So in the status here, you can say either you can say pending or cancelled or whatever it is. Then when we bring in the new information, we can change the status to received or something. So when it's pending like this, maybe pending isn't the right word. Maybe we should use cancelled. That way we know if it doesn't go through, then it will remain as cancelled, which would be fine. It's up to you. Maybe pending is more convenient. But from this point on now, we can simply use the online version now to fix things. Now also, we should tell the user to log in if they are not logged in once they go to the checkout page. So let's go to checkout now, checkout page here. So once they reach the checkout page, if they are not logged in, so let's come here, we should tell them to do so. So I'm going to go here and say, please log in. So let me copy that from the admin section. Let's put it on the checkout. So somebody must be logged in to checkout. So please log in in order to checkout. So there we go. So let's try this out. So I'm going to go to logout and try to go to the cart. So in the cart, I still have my items because it's still the same session. But if I go to checkout, okay, so that is an undefined, so good enough. Let me just move these guys down here. That way session is declared before I try to use it. So if I now refresh, it say, please log in order to check out. Okay, let's try this again. Let me go back to the home page. Let's go to the cart. Maybe I can add one more item to the cart. Go to the cart and check out and say, please log in order to check out. If they don't have an account, they can sign up here. So email, and then let's put our password. But it doesn't take us back to the to the cart, which you can program that and then check out. Finally, you are here. Okay, so this is good. Now what we need to do is send this to the online version so that we can get a webhook result. Now, if we go to APIs, before we do anything here, I can go to the overview here, and everything looks fine. So now you see it shows us 15 successful API requests, as you can see here. 1 successful webhook, 0 failed. Why is there a webhook here? I think I was using this for something else. Anyway, so what we need to do now is create some webhooks. But before that, we need to create an online version of our system. So let's move our system onto the online server. That way we can actually receive a message from the Stripe server. Yes. So now what you're going to do is, if you have a live server that you paid for, that's even better. But if you don't, we're going to use a free version. So here we're going to go to this website here, www, this is 000webhost.com, because they offer free servers here. So create an account with them. Let me see their homepage here for a second. Where is this? Let's go to their homepage. Now, obviously I'm not sponsored by these guys, so you can use any, it doesn't really matter. You can use any of these free servers. I think there's one called Infinity Free or something as well. Then there's 00webhost.com. Just Google and find whoever is offering a free server, and then you can use it. So once you log in, they will ask you to create a website. Just don't put a name there, because I tried putting a name there and couldn't proceed. So just click next, 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 and so on. And then finally you get to, I think it looks something like this. Yeah, this is where you get to when you start. And then it's not my first rodeo, take me to the cPanel. So it takes you here, I think. You can skip the ads. And then when you get here, just click submit, and then it will, I tried naming this. It says optional, which I guess is cool. I tried naming it, but you reach the maximum number of websites allowed. Okay, that's fine, because you can only have one website at a time. So then it will take you to the dashboard here. Then you can click on File Manager here. That's the one we want. We want the File Manager. So we can put our website somewhere there. Login details incorrect. Really? Really? Let me refresh. Let's see here. Right. Okay, so let's go back to the login page, shall we? I'm just going to go to the home page here. Come on. I think I logged in using yeah, so these are their pricing thingies. So let me click on get started. Oh boy. Sign up free. I want to sign in instead. Let's go. Okay, looks like I'm already signed in. Awesomeness. Then I'll click on manage website. Boom. Oh, so they give you 2 websites, do they? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Now the thing is, you don't get to choose the URL to your website, unfortunately, because it's a free service. So yep. Oh yeah, by the way, go to GitHub and look for, just Google unzipper for GitHub, and you come to this page which has unzipper, because we need this to unzip our files once we zip them. That's because on this website the file unzip doesn't work, but we can try it. Maybe it does work this time. Maybe they fixed it. I don't know. Okay, so on the online server, always when you go to an online server, you're going to have a public HTML folder in your system. So there will be the root folder and then public HTML. Now, public HTML represents your public folder in your project file. So let's come back here and let me just right click on local shop and say open folder, right? So there's the source code here, which I will go ahead and delete. We don't need this stuff. This is stuff we are not using. And then the only thing we need is app and public. Now, public here is this folder. So the mistake that most people do is they go into the public HTML folder and put both their app folder and public folder in there. That is not right. The app folder should be outside the public HTML folder, and then you replace your public folder with this public HTML folder. So both folders should be right here. So what I'm going to do here is, because I want to move my local site to the online version, I'm just going to right click and add to an archive, convert this to a zip file. Do the same for the public folder as well, convert that to a zip file. Okay, very good. Now all I need to do is import these guys. So right here I'm going to say upload files. Yes, upload files. And I'll come back to here, just select that folder so I can easily access it, and select files, and I will paste that there. So now the first one I want is the app folder, so I'll add that in there, and I can add both actually, and public, yes, and then click upload. Okay, so uploading in progress. So this is only 6 MB and taking this long. This other one is 16 MB, so I'm guessing it's gonna take a while. So while this is happening, I want you to go to the GitHub, because we can't wait to find out. Just in case the zipping thing doesn't work, just go to GitHub, unzipper, find this one. You can just Google and say unzipper GitHub, like so. Let's see what we get, right? And there it is. So github.com NDEET, I don't know how to pronounce this word, and then unzipper. So if you click on this, that's when it will take you to the GitHub page, which is right here. And all you have to do is click code, download zip file. I already did download this because I've used this so many times. The thing is, you can unzip files using PHP, right? It's actually not difficult, but somebody already created the code, so there's no need for us to create that code. We can just copy from here and have it run, since it's here for free with a nice UI as well. So why not? So instead of creating our own code, that's what we'll do. We'll download that and move it. So wait a second here, it's almost done, which is good. You know, I should have tried just this one file before allowing the other one, but who knows. Okay, so instead of you waiting for this, I'm going to give it a minute and I'll be right back once the uploads are done. Yeah, yes. All right, so it's still uploading, but there's more to do, so let's continue doing other things while this happens. So for example, we need to export our database from the local machine. So I'll click on local shop DB there, and then I'll click export. So let's click export here. So that's local DB, and then just hit go. So there it is, it's exported. So let me come back here to the dashboard here. So I'm looking for the C panel. So let me go back to this. Says file manager, and how do I get to the C panel? Let's see, tools here, database manager. Okay, let's click on that, database manager. Interesting. Okay, still uploading. Okay, so database manager here, you have not created any databases yet. Very good. So let's create a database. So new database. Oh, you can put a name. This is new. I think it used to be random. Anyway, so we'll go for localshop_db. Let's create a username. This one will be my local root. You can name this anything you want, really. The password here, you can create any password. You can say randomize and then say show password, and then grab that and come back here. Now remember, we have a config file. So we have this config file which we can put those details here. So I'm going to grab, oh, that's the password here. Let's paste it there. Okay. And let's create. I'm going to copy also the name here. Let's create. Don't save. Should have waited until it actually created the thing. Yeah. But it seems it has actually. So there it is. Now it adds some random characters here, which is what I was talking about. So copy this. This is the user. So it gives you a user. So that's the user here. Paste. And then it gives you the DB name, which is this one. Completely edits it to some ridiculous text. There we go. And then let's look at the DB host, which is still localhost, which is nice. Here it's still creating the database. So you can see there's a progress bar here. So we have to give it a second. This one has moved a bit. That's great. Terrible internet speeds, but that's what we have. So with this in mind, it means now we can wait a second. What am I missing here? The driver is MySQL. Wait, so I didn't put a driver here. What is going on? Huh. Interesting. Driver MySQL. Just in case. Okay, so that's done. I can click on manage and go to the PHP My Admin. So click there. This would take me to exactly like this thing here, which is nice. And here I can now import my database. Meanwhile, the upload, oh boy. Okay, let's wait for the DB to load. Let's see what we got. See what we've got. Still uploading. 99%. Okay, so the online database has loaded. So let's click on it and simply tell it to import. So click on import and come on, import. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Click browse and find your database and then click go. So here this has finished uploading. So we have this zip file, but remember that in the app folder, we have edited our config file. So once we are done, we can upload just that one file, the config file here. Okay. We also need to change the URL to the online thing here. Let me get back here and set web address. Okay, that's fine. I can click on that to set the address. Let's see here. You can either purchase a new domain, blah blah blah, add domain. Okay, they're just pulling my leg, right? I want a way to view my website. So I'll go to home here, build a site, current site, free. Oh boy. Okay, let me click on my sites. This is the site right here. So if I click on this, it takes me to my site. So I right click, new tab. So this is the URL. So I'll copy this URL and put it here. Okay, very good. Righty then, so everything is set now. I've put all the details I need. Now I just need to upload the config file as well. But before we do that, to load this, we need to extract our files. So okay, so this the database is also done, which is nice. Let me go here. So I wanted to start with app, so select app and say extract. There's compress, there's extract. So let's try that. Extract to app. Let's see if it's gonna work. Yeah, so it says can't open that file, not search for blah blah blah. Very useless. So what we'll do now is let's just move these two zip files into the public HTML folder so we can work on them. So I'm saying move. Where are we moving to? Destination. Wait, what is it? So I'll say select this one. Yeah, select this. So move. Where did it go? Click there. Okay, so I moved them into the, yeah, if I go back to the here, it did create a folder in there, but it's empty because it couldn't extract. So this is just a folder, so we can delete it. It's not a zip file, just a folder, so let's delete it because it created it while trying to extract but failed. So there we go. So back to public HTML, we have our two zip files. Now right here I want to upload a file, so I'll click select files. So as you can see now I have the unzipper which I got from GitHub. So now the thing is I can't upload a zipped file because then I'll run into the same problems again. So what I need to do is unzip it. So I'll go to zipper here and extract to zipper, open and open, and then I just want the unzipper.php file, that's all. So come here and unzipper, unzipper, boom, boom. So that's what we're going to use to extract our files, a PHP file. So you can actually read that PHP file and see how the code is constructed if you want to learn how to extract files using PHP. I already have a tutorial on how to do that, but you can use this as well. So there's unzipper.php, right? Now if I try to open my my website here, this is what happens. It just says your free website has been started. Good. So what I want to do now is just to slash unzipper.php because that's the name of the PHP file. And there it is. So you see, it says archive unzipper, the zip file. So which file? Select a zip archive to extract. So it has them in the list. So I want to start with app and say unzip archive. So you can even zip things in there as well, which is a very useful script. So file unzipped successfully. Let's unzip public as well. Extract. Very good. Okay. So if I now go back to the file manager, where is the file manager, by the way? Oh boy. Okay, there it is. Now let's refresh and see what happens. Yeah, so now on top of the zip files, we have unzipper as well, but we have two folders, the public and the app file. Now this is where people get confused. So let's move the app file outside the public folder. So I'll select that and say move. So let's change where it's going. It's going in the outside. So it's gonna go, not select this, but let's go here. Let's click on that and say select this, yes, and move. Okay, so we've moved it. But then the public folder should not exist because this public HTML is the public folder. So let's move everything that's in the public folder to the outside here. But also I just want to move the zip, public, and unzipper outside here to the outside so that it's easier to see what's going on. So let me move these guys, change the location to that, and then select this and move. Okay, so I've moved them to the outside world. So here there's just public folder. So let me open public folder and select everything in here and move them out as well. So select everything here and move. So let's change where we are moving. We're moving them outside the public folder into public HTML. So let's do that and select this. Nope, not that. Select this. So they're going to public HTML, move them. So essentially the public folder will be empty now. So if we go back to public HTML, that's where things are. So the public folder is irrelevant now. We can simply delete it since it's empty anyway. So let's remove that. Okay, now we have our website. Very good. Also, if I go to the main where there's the app folder now. So there's an app folder here. Good. Let me click open it and then go to core. There's a config file. So let's upload that, re-upload it. So I'm going to go local shop, app, core, config, replace, upload. All right, so goody. Now if I go back to my website, which has file unzipper, now I don't need to open file unzip. I can just open the main thing. It should load my... So it says your PHP version must be 8 or higher to run this app. Your current version is 7.2. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah. So unfortunately with these free thingies here, with this free website, I don't think I have the privileges to actually change my PHP version. So this really sucks, but let's see. Maybe I do. Let's just confirm that. Right, how do I go to my... I want to go to my file browser, my sites, Power Store help. Okay, we're already on my sites. Where is the dashboard anyway? Let me go to the home page. Oh, no. Oh, the navigation is poor on this. Good God. And I'm back to where I started from. Oh my God. Anyway, let me click on manage website. That's where I wanted to go, I guess. Manage website. Okay. Come on. So I do have 2 websites. So they allow you 2 websites, I guess. Come on, please load. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay. Now the thing is, there are things that I used in here that only work with PHP 8. I think those are the, especially in, where is this? Let's say request, for example. In the functions, these mixed, these cannot run in something smaller, but we're going to try anyway. Okay, my network is gone. So the first step we can do, because I don't think we'll be allowed to change the PHP version, so this should be last resort. So what we're going to do is, let's put 7 here. Let's just say 7. This is in the index page, right? Then we can replace that index page with this one. We're still here in the, let's go to public HTML. And let's replace this index page with the one that says 7. So select, move from app, let's go to public, let's get that index page, upload it. Okay, so the manage thing has finally opened, and I'm trying to look for website settings here. General, security, statistics, redirect. Let's try this general settings. Maybe we can change our PHP version. Change PHP version. Oh, look at that. We can actually change it to 8. Very cool. So let's do that. Okay, so let me put it back to 8 because we'll have bigger problems if we allow a smaller PHP version here. So better like this. And what's going on? I think that's all we needed to do. Very good. Okay, so let's go back. Very nice. Everything is great now. It should load our website now. So let's click that, refresh. There we go. So now we have an online version of our website, which is very exciting. We have nothing in the cart, I suspect. Yeah, nothing. So let's go to shop here and let's give it a shot. First of all, let's log in, I guess, or we can just add things to the cart. Let's see if things work. Good. Let's add that, add it again, add this one. Very good. And then let's go to the cart and see. There we go. So we have items. Now that this is working, we can make a webhook here. Okay. Now the thing is, I don't know the information that Stripe sends to the webhook at this point. So in order to find out, I just need to create one. So let's go to the controller. So personally, I already know what information it brings, but you do not know. So this is how you can find out. So let me copy this. Controller, new file. Let's do that. Let's make a new controller. We'll call it Stripe. Yeah, let's just call it Stripe, right? Or Stripe webhook. Like this. I like to avoid these no, let's just call it Stripe. That's better. Now the webhook doesn't need a view because no one is going to view it anyway. It's just for information. That's all. So stripe.php. That's fine. So in here you can load in the product thingy to, actually no, we want to access the order. So instead of product, we'll access the order information. So we'll have the order class here created. So let's do order like that. Then no find all, there's no need for that. We won't even use it now here. So all I want is to grab the information that we are sent and then put it inside a file. So we're just going to say file put contents. That's all we're going to do. So what's the file name? And the data, like so. Okay. So we're going to create a file that will put all this data for examination. So say file, I'm going to say stripe.txt. You can call it anything you want. And then the data itself, we're going to grab it from the PHP input. So we'll say PHP input. No, actually, we're going to use file get contents. Sorry about that. And then in here, we'll put quotes and we'll use PHP dot, no, just a single dot. We'll say input. Like that. You know, I always forget. I'm forgetting something here, am I not? Oh yeah, like that. Okay, that's how it should be. So PHP input. Now you can put an @ symbol here if you want. What this @ symbol does is it says suppress all errors. In case there are errors in receiving the information, just suppress them and move on. Okay, so we grab that data and put it there. So that's all we need to do here. We're just saving the information to the Stripe thingy. So I want to put this inside, it's in the controllers, right? So I want to upload it to our new website online. So I'll go back to my file manager and inside app folder here, I will upload a file. So click inside controllers. So we're adding a new controller here, select, let's go local shop, app, controllers, and this one is called Stripe. Let's open that and upload. Very good. Okay. Very fine. All right, so that's good information. Now Stripe does have code which you can use to receive webhooks. So let's click here to find out. So I'm going to click on webhooks here. So I'm inside my dashboard in Stripe and developers, and I've gone to webhooks. So I already have one webhook here, but let me add one more. So it's called an endpoint. So click that. It's a webhook. So you can put the endpoint URL. This is good. So this is where you get the code that you can use. But let's put details here so the code is updated. Oh, so they actually do this for you. Look at that. Yeah, very good. Okay, anyway, we come back here to our website. So now our hook is part of this URL, but it's /stripe at the end. So let me copy this. Let's come back to Stripe dashboard and let's paste it there. And let's change the last part to Stripe. That's how you access that controller we created. So that's our webhook. So you can add a description if you want. I don't want that. So events on your account, events on connected. Yeah, just this, leave it. Current version, yes. And then here we click select events. So we click to select which events we're going to listen for. So every time there's an event on your account, it can send a webhook, some webhook information, but we only want this to happen on the checkout. So let's select all of these checkout thingies here, just in case. So you see it has added new code here to match what we've selected, which is nice. And then let's just say add events. And once we do that, we can add the endpoint. But I will copy this, copy, then click add endpoint. Okay, very good, very good, very good. Waiting for events. Okay, so this is our endpoint right there. Very good. Now down here we'll add the code we copied from Stripe. Let me add it there. Let me move up like this. So, yeah. Let's remove the PHP tags. We already have these, plenty of these. Now it gives you instruction here. Use a sample code to handle webhook events. Paste this code in your file webhook.php, which is supposed to be this one. But since we have many, we named this one Stripes. We're going to have another one for PayPal. Run the server, blah, blah, blah. So we don't need these instructions. You can leave them there, no problem. So I'm going to mute these guys for now. I don't need them. Okay, so I just want to see what it returns. Very good. So Stripe webhook. We already sent this. We don't need this to be on the online server. This stuff here. So let me go back here and make sure on the online server I actually added the Stripe PHP. Okay, it's there in the controllers. So good. So now what will happen is it's going to create a new file in the public HTML folder here. Let's see. We don't have any stripe.txt file, as you can see. So let's go to our local thing and do a checkout and see what happens. So it asks me to log in, of course. Let's do password here and log in. So back to the cart and checkout. Let me add Mary, just so we have a different thing. And then phone number, delivery address, house number 4, and there we go. So now let's click pay. Oh, look at that. Paid does not have a default value. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so it says PDO exception. The field paid doesn't have a default value. So these are problems. Let's go to orders. This is a database error. So orders here, there's the paid, but it does have a default value. So what's going on? Let's go to the structure. And it says, oh, okay, so no default value, right? So because it's not being given, let's change it anyway. So this is why I guess when creating databases, it's a good idea to put default values everywhere. Let's try this. Default. Ugh. What is going on? What's happening? Oh, this is why, you know, editing on an online thing is hectic. Let's put a default value of 0. Let's save. I hope it doesn't complain about some other column again. So let's try this again. Resend. Okay, finally it's working. Okay, good. So this is what we are paying. Order number 6. Delivered to house number 4. That's Mary. So let's see how you will pay Mary. And let's put a date in the future. Put that. Name on the card. Mary. I don't even remember what I used there. But then let's click pay. So let's see if the payment will happen. Okay, so thank you for your payment, even though it sent me to the localhost version. So you have to keep this in mind, yeah? When you, let's go to the functions here. When you go on the online version, you're supposed to change these. So the best way to do this is to use root instead. So here what I'm going to do is put something like root, like that, and then concatenate the /thanks, like so. And then put root here as well. That's better. Yeah, that'll work out much better. So we have to copy this functions page, but it doesn't matter. It sent us back, even though it's the localhost version, but it did. Now let's just go and check to see if a webhook received something. So in here, I just want to refresh the page and see if there's a stripe.txt file. And there it is. Look at that. Interesting. Now if I click on it, I can edit the file just to see what's happening. And there you go. Look at that. It sent us all this information in there. So I can select all this info, copy it, just close it, and come to my text editor so I can have a better look, and paste. There you go. So this is the information you receive from the webhook. So here you can click and select JSON. That way you can see it better. JSON. There we go. There it is. So you see the information it gives you: an ID, the object type, when it was created. This is a timestamp. You can convert this to a date that looks like this one. All the IDs, what type of object it is. This one is a checkout session, so keep that in mind. The reason that is important is because if we go to the Stripe, this code that we got from Stripe, you see it tells you what to do when a specific session happens. So that one is the session checkout. Wait, what is it? Why do I have this untitled? It's checkout.session. That's the type. Let's see where it says event type. Now the important thing here is this: the customer details, right? And there they are. And then there is also what am I looking for? Customer email, which we sent. Look at that. And then there is our metadata. Where is our metadata here? Okay, so the type is checkout session completed. So that's important, because then you can know to put your code under this one, checkout session completed here. Okay, back to the information we received. So I'm just looking for the metadata I sent. It doesn't seem to be here, or either I'm just not looking hard enough. Oh, there it is, metadata. You see? So now we know the user ID that was responsible for this is user ID number 1, and the date of the their record is this one. So we can just use these two to find that record and then update it to say, yes, they paid. Okay, so let's fix this right there. So first thing we need to know is the object. So let's come here. So this is the stripe.php. I'll put these next to each other. So I'm going to remove this because now I know the webhook is working fine. I'll do this, remove. Now we need to require this file. Now it's the same way we required it in the functions part here. So I'm just going to copy this part there. Let's go to Stripe and require it there. Instead of the autoload, we use the init as it says in the documentation. And then let me do this. I just want to lock this out. I can always unlock and comment this when I want to see what's wrong and just capture the raw data. So this is supposed to be your secret key, which we already have here. So I'll grab this. Come back here. Oh yeah, so the key should have this actually. That way it communicates with what's this? Stripe, and knows this information is legit. So this is the ID. Where do we get the ID? So there's a signing secret here. So let's reveal it. This is on the webhooks, right? This is the current webhook. So this is the one. It should look like this. So let's select this. This is important because if they are not the same, then it will reject that as not a valid purchase. So very important to add this here. There we go. And once we save, it grabs the information. So all the code is already done for you, except you look at the event. These are the events we selected. We ticked to say this is what we'll be looking for. But we only needed this one actually, session completed, because as we saw from the data we got, that's what that one is called. And so the session now contains event, data, object. So let's look at that point here. There's this whole thing is the event, but then there's data here, right? And then inside data, there's object. So this right here, the object, is what the thing contains. Now, object is just an object that has all this here, amount, total, but it does not account for the other data here. So inside data, I would like to get something else instead of object. Let's see, data. Let's come back. There's object here. So what I want to do here, I want to update paid status. Okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab the order and say update. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is the ID of the order. That's what I want. Actually, you know, this is what I should have sent from the other side. The ID, that way it's easy to find it. But let's just run a query instead. So we're just going to run a query. I'm going to say query is equal to, so that we don't need to use the ID. We can say update orders. Set paid is equal to 1, where the user ID is equal to whatever user ID we're going to give it. And date is equal to whatever date we're going to give it, and limit 1. Okay, so instead of update here, we'll use query. So we can just run the query directly and do query. But then we have to supply these variables data there. So I'm going to say user ID. I'll create a variable called ID, then comma, and then date, and then create another variable called date. So once that query runs, that's it. We've updated and said they have paid. We can also save other information. This is up to you. There's a lot of information here you can save. Another option is to have in the order thing table to have a raw data column. So I'll show you that in a minute. If we go to the database create here, we can do that. I can just have this one and say row like this one and put it as a text column, and we can let it be a no value like that. That is fine, so that we can save the raw data if we want. Okay, so here I can come back to my database, and in the orders section in the structure I can add one more column and call it let's see here, and call it raw, and add it as a text value so it can save the raw information, so that in case your system doesn't save information properly, you can always go back to the raw data that was sent by the webhook and then reverse engineer it and see what went wrong, because if you don't capture some of that information, you might miss something. So let's see here, what's happening? Come on, what's going on? Connection to the server has been lost, has it? Anyway, while that is happening, no problem. Let's get back to business. So Stripe here, this should be enough. Oh, let's just put date here. So let's say ID is equal to, so this is what contains the information, session object up to here. So let's put that. And then inside object here, there's metadata. So let's go down here. So there's object. Let's use this session here. So session, copy that. And let's do this. Metadata, user ID. And then let's do the same for the date, and let's put date there. Okay, because session is up to the object level, and then from there we have metadata and so on, which is right here. So things that are in here are inside object actually. So things like, for example, customer email, this one you'd have to go into, yeah, actually it's just email name, etc, etc, customer email. Yeah, so you can get all the information you want from here, no problem. And let's go back to the Stripe thing here, and we can, yep, I think this will do just fine. So let's make a payment and try this new code there. So let's go to checkout. There we go. Let's try Harry Joe, just so it's a different name altogether. That way we know this one just by looking at it. House number 1234, and let's click pay. All right, so there we go. Let's put a name on the card, Harry Joe, and we put our card number 42424242, and okay, that should do. So let me click pay. All righty then. Okay, so thank you for your order. Now let me go to the, okay, so this database seems we've run, our session has expired, or has it? Let me refresh this page. Okay, but it doesn't matter. What I want to do now is go to the online version here. And then I need to go to my admin section here, admin. And then let's go to orders. Let's see there. Okay, so it's still saying paid no. So That is weird. That is indeed weird. Okay. All right. So things didn't work here. Let's try. Let's see. Date ID is equal to 1. Because user ID will have. Let's see. Update orders. Set paid is equal to 1, where user ID is equal to that. You know what? Let's change things a little bit. Let's user ID is equal to 1. Instead of date, let's add something else. Let me add just the ID. Okay, so instead of date here I'm going to say this is user ID, and here I'll change this to ID, like so. Okay, and then here what do I do? Change this to ID as well. All right, session completed. Okay, so I'm going to go back to functions here, and the order ID actually is the ID that I want here. So where it says order ID here, I'll grab this, and instead of date, I'll add that order ID there and say ID, like so. Okay, that way I can use that to read directly. Okay. Oh, and wait, by the way, the reason it didn't work, actually, it could have worked. The reason it didn't work is because I didn't update this file. You know, you have to remember to update your online files. So let me do that, actually. Let me go to controller, and let's say upload file, select file. And let me upload Stripe here. Okay, upload. Okay, so my session did expire indeed. So let me close that. Let's go to my sites and manage site. Okay, and file manager. So I shouldn't forget to update the functions page as well. So in here, I'll go to app, controllers, click update, select, update the Stripe controller, upload. From there, I will go to core. Inside core, I will want to update the functions page as well. So back core functions page and upload. There we go. Okay, so this time things should work. So let me go back to the front end and try to create another order. So since that cart already contains information, let's just check out with that. And let's try Paul Jones. Paul at email.com. Let's try phone number, house number 10. Let's click pay. Okay. Also, I forgot to, yeah, actually this is gonna work. So let's do 4242424242. There. And then let's do Paul Jones and pay. All right. Okay, so thank you for your order, and this time it sent us back to the online version, which is good. Now let's get back into our admin section and see if an order was correctly. Let's see orders. Oh boy, it's still saying no. So there's something wrong with the information here. So something is weird. So what I want to do is, let me grab this. I want to see what information is brought down here. Okay, so file put contents, because I can't just echo what's here. So I just have to put it in a file to see. So I'll grab this as well. This one I'll name it stripe 2, just so I know it's different. And then I'll come down here as well. We're trying to debug here and see what the problem is. I want to know if it actually gets to this point. Let's put stripe 3 here. And the data in this case is going to be, let's say, user ID, so that I know what could be wrong here. So the data will be the user ID, and then concatenate space ID like that, and then put the ID. I want to know what information is being given here, like so. Okay, so file put contents, we won't grab the data from here anymore, where the data is here, so let's do that. Okay, so I'll grab these guys and let's see which one of the two actually ends up working out. So let me go to controllers and upload that controller again. So this could take a while. Debugging can take a while, but once you have it running, then you are good to go. So back here again, let's go to the cart, or let's just go to the checkout page directly. Harry again. Let's try Harry Joe. Any of these. Okay, let's pay. Fingers crossed to see what the problem is. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Harry Joe, pay. So all I'm interested in is seeing if I'll have stripe 2 and stripe 3 there. So let's come back here. Let's go to the public folder and see which ones were saved. So 2 and 3 were both saved, which is nice because it means then we got to 3. But what's going on then? So ID is 1 and the ID there is 10. So looks like things are okay, actually. So what's happening? So there's ID 1 and ID 10. So let's see if there's let's go to the online version instead. Let's try tools, database manager. So I want to see if there's any there's something that matches this here. So let's click there again. So user ID is 1 and ID is 10 for the order. So ID order number 10 where user ID is 1. So let me see if we do have that. So click on this, that record, I mean. Come on, come on. Actually, we can check by going to the admin here because order numbers are present. So it's true, there's order number 10 and user number 1. So what is going on? Looks like everything is good. So let me go to orders here. Paid is still 0. Interesting. On the last one here. So user ID is 1 and ID is 10. So everything is good. So why didn't it work? This is interesting. So something must be wrong with my query here. Let's see. Did I declare order? Order is equal to new order. Oh, okay. Use model order. Okay, that's fine. Order is equal to new order. So this we can hide. We know information here is received just fine because we got to this point. So the problem must be somewhere here. So we'll say it does get to here. So I guess here it doesn't. So what's wrong with the query? Update orders, set paid is equal to 1. Is there a column named paid? Yes. So paid is equal to 1 where user ID is equal to user ID. User ID, great. Which we managed to get as 1. And ID is equal to ID, let me 1. Okay, this is very strange. Things look like they're just fine. And then there's a query. And then here we have an array with the information we need. So what is the problem here? 1 second. ID. Oh, that's the problem. Here I was supposed to put user ID. You know, very silly things like this can cause you a big headache. So have to be careful. That's user ID and that's ID. Okay, so this time it's gonna work, yeah? Okay. So let's go back to the file manager and import the controller again. Controllers. Upload. Let's put Stripe again. Upload. Okay. Very cool. So now we are back. Let's try one more order. Back to, actually not there. We are supposed to go to checkout. Let's go to checkout. Let's try robot. Robot at email.com. Let's put any phone number here. Let's put any house number and pay. Okay. All right, let's do fingers crossed again. 4242424242. Let's put a date, some numbers, robot, and pay. Okay. Okay, thank you for your order. Admin, let's go to the admin section. Let's go to orders. And there we go. So you see now it says paid yes, which is correct. Okay, so very good, very good. So now this is working just fine. Now if you want, you can even compare amounts. You can do that by doing this here. So you can send in the amount, or the amount is automatically already received in here. You can just go through this information here and look at where the amount is, which is right here. So you have to be careful though. This one doesn't have a decimal point. It's 27700. So you have to multiply it by 100 compared to this one to get the similar amount. So you can compare amounts as well if you want, but at least now it tells us that this user actually paid, which is very nice. So with this, let's clean up a little bit. So this file here, you can save it somewhere else so that you can always get back to it. In case there's new information you want to add, you can always add it there. So I'll close this. But what I'll do on the Stripe thingy here is I'm going to grab the entire data from here. So I'm going to call this one row data. So I'm going to say row underscore data, and let's remove that file, put contents. Actually, once I grab the row data, it's actually inside payload because this is the same code as here. So no need to grab that. We can just call payload to get it. So from there, we can actually save the payload as well. So update paid is equal to 1, and then let's do row is equal to payload, like that. Paid is equal to 1, row is equal to payload, and then here I will add it and say payload and say equals to payload. There we go. That way it saves the whole row, piece of row data in there as well. So just make sure you do have that column in here. So I didn't add it to the online version. Let me draw that structure. When this thing wants to be slow, it really can be slow. So let's call this column row and save it as text and default value no. So let's save that. That's good. Let's do the same on the local version. Let's go to structure and add one more and call it row and text and then default no and save. We already added this to the order.php file, which is right there, row text. That's fine. And then once we are done, a second thing to keep in mind is you should go to the index.php page, so home page, or not the index, actually the config file. So let's go to the config file, and right about here, let's define a few, the secret key and the handshake key. So let's define, this is to keep yourself more organized. So you say SK secret key. So you will just call it the SK here and put it here. And then there's also the handshake key, HK, and put it there. So these are the ones we use, like for example, inside functions, we have secret key here. Okay, so I'll just grab this whole thing, cut it out, and just put SK like that. Okay, because I've declared it here. So the value I will put here instead. So we put the secret key here, and let's do the same thing for the other key, for the handshake inside Stripe. So there's a key here, handshake secret key. I don't know, whatever you can call it, that's up to you. So I'll cut this and put HK there. So you can use whatever variable names you want. So just look, I've edited in Stripe, I've edited in functions, and I've also edited in the config file. That way you change them in one place and forget about it. Okay. So every time you change, so for example, this thing is in test mode, right? So if you click to remove test mode, all these keys will change. So you have to make new keys as well for the hooks and for especially the API keys. They will change, so you need to change them. Especially this one says test. I think this one doesn't change, but this one does change. So you have to re-add this one. So you can make two definitions here, one for the test mode and one for the normal, so that you don't have to rewrite them all the time, and save it like that. Okay, so with that in mind, everything now seems to work for the Stripe thing. So let's try it just one more time. Let me upload the updated files here. So I'll click on controllers, select, let me get the Stripe one, upload, and then from there we're going to go to the core and upload two files in there. The first one is, go up, core, functions, and wait a minute, it's just the functions and config. Yes, so click, select, config, there we go, upload. Okay, so with that, everything should work now. So let's try one more order by Robert Jones. So I'm going to copy that. Let's go to the front end since he only has one. Also, I forgot the cart should be removed. Let me just add one more item to the cart. We should clear out the cart once we finish with the order. So we'll add that in the Stripe. Oh, actually we can't do that in the Stripe. We have to add this in the checkout. Once we reach this point for Stripe checkout, we should unlink things. So here I'm going to use the session data and say pop. We're going to pop whatever is inside cart. Okay, so that will clean out the cart. So let me add one more. Robot, one number, delivery address, and let's pay. Okay. Okay, so please enter a valid first and last name. Okay, that's because there's space here. So let's change this a little bit. So these are things to look out for. If I go to order, where it says valid first name and last name, we must use the trimmed version of this. So I'm going to say trim so that we remove all the trailing and leading and trailing zeros. So here I will have to re-upload the models. Anyway, I don't have to do that. I can just remove the spaces here. But once you do that, it works just fine. Let's go now. Okay. And from here, we can do 42, 42, 42, 42, 42. And then and pay. So a different amount at least for this one. And let's see how that works. So everything paid. Thank you for your payment. Let's go to the admin section now and let's see if things worked out. Let's go to orders, and as you can see, paid, yes, $350 there. So this is how you connect Stripe to your system. Just remember, like I said, once you remove test mode, check all the keys to make sure they are all the same, because sometimes you may need to create new keys and new webhooks and so on. All right, so with this in mind, our system is working, which means if the online version is working, even the local version is also functional. So even when you change your domain names, you're supposed to change the keys and all that. Just check to make sure that everything is fine. I'll close everything here. Okay, very good. So in the next video, we're going to look at how to integrate PayPal and then put the whole system online and see if everything works fine. All right, I'll see you in the